4 years, 2 months in prison.
Wow.
He served a year. He gets some time. He gets 15% credit, so he'd be at 14-ish.
2.5 years.
2 months.
So, and then he gets another 15% in the remaining.
Yeah.
He's out in 2 years.
Yeah. Should have stuck with the original guest.
Williams has officially crossed the line from comedian to prophet of chaos. We're watching the moment he stopped just telling jokes and started dropping warnings that nobody wants to hear. For transporting women for private encounters, Katt didn't just laugh at the verdict, he called it the trailer before the movie. According to him, what just happened in court isn't even the main feature. In his words, the FBI is loading up for the real show, and the next names on the arrest list are about to make everyone's jaws drop. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, people Katt claims are not just Diddy's acquaintances, they're accomplices. He says the feds are coming, and that what's about to happen will make Diddy's trial look like—
For a while, a lot of people are buzzing that Diddy's former BFFs are real quiet.
And they have been.
And people were wondering why, and who's the next to fall. And then Jay-Z comes out, and then LeBron James says, I'm stepping away for excused personal reasons. And people are going, oh, what?
After Diddy stood in a packed New York courtroom, eyes fixed on the judge, listening as his fate was sealed. 4 years for coercing his exes into the freak-off parties that have already become legend and mere. Before the press could print the words remorseful and punished enough, Katt Williams was online ridiculing not just the sentence, but the entire spectacle. He said, point blank, that the real drama hasn't even started. According to Katt, the FBI is getting ready to arrest Diddy's most powerful friends. And for the first time, he didn't just imply, he named names: Michael Jordan, LeBron James. Names that usually spell endorsement deals, not subpoenas. We have to remember, this isn't a random hot take from a comedian hoping to trend. Katt has been broadcasting these warnings for months. Back in January 2024 on Club Shay Shay, he looked Shannon Sharp in the eye and said, all lies will be exposed, sure, but then September rolled around, Diddy was led away in handcuffs, and suddenly the internet realized Katt wasn't just spitballing. His old words started circulating again. Clips from that podcast got chopped and memed. Because whether you find Katt paranoid or prophetic, the scoreboard shows he called Diddy's legal downfall before any charges were—
Where Diddy said to her,
she testified that
he showed her a video of a freak-off that she participated in and said, if you don't participate in another freak-off when we get to New York, I'm going to put this video out. I'm going to send it to your mother.
And that's coercion.
She testified to that.
If the jury
believed her, that's coercion.
They started questioning if his predictions would end there. The courtroom gave them more to work with. In the most bizarre twist yet, Diddy's ex, only identified as Jane, took the stand and revealed under oath that Diddy used to role-play as Michael Jordan at those infamous parties. Yes, Diddy as Jordan, while the others played NBA legends like Kobe and Shaq. This wasn't whispered in a bathroom. This was courtroom testimony, paid, some coerced, all overseen by Diddy, who apparently saw himself as the MJ of the freak-off universe. Now, Michael Jordan's reaction was immediate. According to sources close to the NBA icon, who was sunning himself in Sardinia when the news broke, he found the whole situation weird and wanted no part of it. Jordan's camp stressed he didn't want his name attached to any controversy. No new crying memes, no press statements, just a hard pass and a hope that this mess would evaporate as quickly as it arrived. But what we can't ignore is that once your name lands in a federal transcript, you don't just log off and hope it goes away.
And do you think that by the end he will merit a place in that conversation of top 3, top 1?
What was the name again? Pardon me. Who?
Some guy called LeBron James.
Oh, okay, LeBron James. Is he?
And memes, and telling his millions of followers that the circus is just setting up its tents. We can see how Katt's confidence has become its own news cycle. The man refuses to let go of the story. He said he's been invited to Diddy's private gatherings over the years and always turned them down, and who looked away. If I'm at the Diddy party, I'm there to tell, he's joked. And while that plays for laughs on stage, in the context of Diddy's legal fallout, it starts to sound like a challenge to the entire industry. We can't talk about Diddy's parties without mentioning Cassie Ventura, his other ex, whose courtroom testimony put the phrase freak off on every late night monologue and news chyron. She told jurors she'd give back her $20 million settlement just to erase those nights. She described scenes of coercion, marathon sessions that would go on for days, a lifestyle built on substances and threats. The prosecution built its case around her and Jane, using their stories to paint a picture of Diddy as not just an abuser, but a ringleader with a taste for humiliation and control. And now, with Jane linking those parties directly to the NBA's biggest names, we're left wondering just how deep this guest list
explained all of the items that were involved in these Wild King nights. Did he mention
who would participate as well.
A lot of them were unknown to him. He did mention that a lot of the women were very, very young as 20.
This is where the rumor mill turns into a wood chipper, because as soon as Michael Jordan's name hit the wire, every connection got dragged out of the closet. Old footage resurfaced of "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." That clip is now making its rounds for all the wrong reasons, with Twitter sleuths calling that soundbite aged like milk. The two have been photographed together at the ESPYs, at dinner parties, even dancing at a private event. Nothing illegal in a photo, but in 2025, context is everything, and the internet's favorite pastime is guilt by association. Sources familiar with federal investigations say the FBI is not just looking at Diddy's bank records or who picked up a microphone at his birthday bash. They're combing through who was actually in those rooms, who signed the NDAs, and who might have reason to wish they'd stayed home. The list of A-listers who have partied with Diddy over the last decade is a who's who of entertainment and sports royalty. Most have stayed completely silent since the arrest. Some, like LeBron, have quietly scrubbed social media connections, unfollowing Diddy as soon as rumors started turning into subpoenas.
LeBron James, the Lakers head coach, saying he is out for personal reasons. It's an excused absence. However, social media trying to connect it to a resurfaced clip where James joined Diddy Combs on a live stream and said, quote, "Hey, everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party." I think that went viral.
Of public opinion, silence is an answer. As soon as LeBron's name was whispered in connection with the parties, the internet delivered its own verdict. Rumors began circulating of a viral meme supposedly showing LeBron ducking questions about how many freak-off parties he'd attended, saying, "I prefer not to speak on this." Major sports outlets quickly pointed out there's no real record of him saying this, but as anyone paying attention to 2025 media knows, denials and fact checks don't spread half as fast as a spicy quote, even if it's made up. Meanwhile, Katt Williams seems to be enjoying his role as chaos agent. Every day, he finds a new way to stoke the fire, reposting doctored videos, reminding the world of his club. He's made it clear he thinks the mainstream is still pretending not to see what's right in front of them, and while he hasn't been called to testify, despite viral YouTube rumors to the contrary, Katt's confidence hasn't faded. He claims there's a long list of A-listers who should be worried, and he's betting the
receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Kid, I need another one. You here, get your number.
Thank you.
Is left to play detective with a stack of clues: the testimony of women like Cassie and Jane, the photos from past events, the awkward silences from athletes and musicians, and the unending stream of speculation from social media. We've watched as old video footage of LeBron and Diddy laughing and dancing at dinner parties is recontextualized by this latest wave of allegations. Suddenly, every handshake, every group photo, every compliment exchanged in public is being examined for hidden meaning. Some of this is classic internet hysteria, but a lot of it is fueled by the fact that, time after time, Katt Williams has been ahead of the story. Insiders close to the ongoing investigation are telling us that prosecutors are under pressure to prove not just Diddy's guilt, but to expose anyone who helped cover up his activities. Attorneys representing the women in Diddy's case have publicly warned that enablers are about to be named, and that the next round of indictments could include. It's the question hanging over every headline. Will the FBI actually drag in the biggest names in sports and music, or is this just the internet's fantasy?
And what's really going to be interesting is the parade of celebrities who we expect to be mentioned and or called into that courtroom. You know, people who we hadn't heard about prior, like Mike Myers, you know, Austin Powers, Mike Myers. Why is he getting called? Why is he on the witness list? That'll be fascinating. And then, of course, there are the no-name, quote unquote, women who are going to have to find every ounce of courage.
Can't be denied is that the legal stakes are climbing. Since the Diddy verdict, calls have intensified for prosecutors to go after his inner circle. Attorneys have started dropping hints that what we've seen so far are either cleared or pulled into the quicksand. Defense lawyers for Michael Jordan have already gone on record insisting he's got nothing to hide, that his reputation matters more than any brand deal. Jordan himself, according to friends, wants to disappear until the scandal calms down. But federal transcripts and sworn testimony have a way of turning the spotlight back on, no matter how far you run.
I think it is what it is, you know, it's just a standard measurement. You know.
LeBron's silence is growing louder. Conservative commentators, former associates, and a handful of media personalities are openly wondering why one of the most vocal celebrities in America suddenly has nothing to say about his old friend Diddy. There's been no denial, no statement, not even a PR-crafted note about thoughts and prayers or respecting the process. For a man who's never shied away from controversy, that absence has not gone unnoticed. People are starting to wonder, is LeBron keeping quiet because there's nothing to tell, or because the next round of subpoenas is going to start landing closer to home? And as all these questions swirl, Katt Williams isn't backing down. Just as Michael Jordan's name appeared on the courtroom transcript, Katt doubled down again, telling his fans that the real storm hasn't even hit yet. The next wave of arrests, he claims, will make Diddy's trial look like a warm-up. We're watching an entire industry hold its breath, waiting to see who's next, and outright panic start to blur. Because as this scandal escalates, and as the FBI's net keeps widening, every unanswered question becomes its own ticking clock, and the difference between witness and defendant starts to look dangerously.
Lies will be exposed, that's all. And anyone who...
Diddy is behind bars, but Katt says the real story is only starting. We can see how the public denials and carefully worded statements are failing to fill the void. Michael Jordan's name just landed in the middle of a federal trial, and all he's offered through his insiders is that he finds the whole thing weird and wants nothing to do with it. This while he lounges in Sardinia, doing everything possible to steer clear of the headlines, but for all his efforts to distance himself, the damage is already done. His name is now tied to one of the wildest chapters in entertainment scandal history. At the same time, LeBron's silence hangs in the air like a storm that refuses to break. While the world waits for even a single post or denial, his social media stays locked up tighter than Diddy's guest list.